the suppression of the use of marijuana and of the forces lurking behind it are the most important jobs this department is now engaged in. In 1930, the records on marijuana in the Washington office of the Narcotics Division scarcely filled a small folder like this. Today, they fill cabinets.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Coloradians and everyone that's smart enough to listen from the outside.
One of the most amazing plants we've ever discovered.
The pot party, the trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
I got weed pots!
Let's rock and roll. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another week of Stoned Appetit with your host, as always, it's me, Kip. To my right, I got CB. CB, how are you today?
Doing great. Another day, another podcast.
That's what I like to hear. Well, today we are sitting with Chef Natascha, who is opening up her first brick-and-mortar restaurant. Most folks know you from the Ginger Pig Dank food truck, but we're sitting with you right before the grand opening. Excuse me, a little roasted myself here. Thank you for joining us today, Chef.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. We were hoping to open our new restaurant
this week. If we play our times right, we're going to say it's this week because we think we're going to do this right. I think I got it.
Okay, cool. So it's been a few months we've been working on it. It's been really special. My whole team's been here with me every day. We painted the floors ourselves. We've been doing a lot of cleaning and recipe testing and getting really excited to bring our food to Denver after several years in Boulder.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, we're fired up to dive into that. But before we get started, I want to give two quick shout-outs, and then we like to start the episode the same every time, and we'll never change. First, we want to give a shout-out to our friends over here at the Free Market. They've been nice enough to host these podcasts for us recently with the new Advocacy Kitchen over at Bruto, and then all the fantastic shops, and then Run for the Roses, who has been keeping me nice and lit over the course of the last month or so. So shout-out to those guys. If you want to come, it's easy shopping. It's open kind of air market with the doors open, and there's not too much foot traffic. You can walk through the alleyway. So come on down here, Dairy Block. Come support some local business. It's a perfect place. And then our second shout out is to our friends over at Live Nation. Without them, we wouldn't be where we are today, and they need us more than, or we need them more than they need us. So we want to thank them for always being our guiding light. And so when we can, we want to shine some light on them as well. And so right now they're trying to raise funds for the crews of the bands that are not getting paid while these concerts are not going on. So if you get the chance, please go to livenation.com. I think it's called Save the Crew. Click the button, donate, help out those in need. All right, let's get back to the party. Chris, we like to start every episode the same. Chris, do the honors.
Natascha, are you a transplant or a native?
I am a transplant.
Oh, where are we coming from?
I actually moved here in 2001 from Madison, Wisconsin, the day I graduated college.
Okay.
Oh, you're a Badger.
I'm a Badger.
Oh.
And
they say that's
my
sounds.
husband's a Badger, and
Jesus.
we're going to have our restaurant be a secret little Badger bar.
That sounds... So, I mean, we usually like to make fun of these kinds of people, so you're going to catch it today.
Yeah. Totally down.
It's casserole country up there, so I'm guessing cheese curds is not necessarily on the Ginger Pig menu, but we're going to have to pick your brain and ask.
It's true. We're going to have some, there's a bunch of Badger bars in town. There's at least 4 or 5 that have cheese curds, and
I don't know about those, but...
Yes,
we're going to do
This is all news. We like real football.
Right.
Down in the SEC country.
You guys don't like running backs, apparently.
No, we don't mind them. In fact, I think Alabama has a bunch of Heisman winners.
It's true. It's true.
So, what brought y'all west, though? For real.
What's that?
What brought y'all west?
Oh, so
and
yeah.
Hold on, are you from Wisconsin originally? Or?
I'm actually originally from Connecticut, but I went to Wisconsin to play hockey for the Badgers.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So you're just slowly making your way west.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Just had to figure that one out.
Yep. So I've been slowly moving out west. Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, hold on.
And you asked the question
what
after you
brought you west?
graduated.
Yeah,
so I got this job out here in Denver, and it was at Fox Sports Rocky Mountain.
Oh, nice.
Which was really cool. It was before there was Altitude Network, and we had the Avs and the Rockies and the Nuggets, and we did pregame shows and postgame shows. You can obviously tell I was behind the scenes. This is like super uncomfortable to be hearing my own voice.
You're actually really good at it. Like
No.
as the guy that's doing audio, you're doing a lot better than a lot of our other guests with the head turns and everything.
Oh, that's
like
so funny. I'm used to being like behind the scenes and editing highlights and doing stats and graphics. And
The Eric
actually was
Spoelstra's.
I was a social media producer for Root Sports just about 5 years ago, and I was on the headset with everybody one day. This is a good story, that's why I'm telling you.
Go for
and
it.
I have all the game producers and the people in the truck on, and I told them I'm quitting because I'm going to go start a food truck. And they were like, "Are you fucking serious?" And then they were like, "Go do it."
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's how you quit? You're like, that's a real mic drop.
It's a pretty good mic drop.
And then they're all like, switch to Channel 5. What the fuck is she doing?
Be like, get her badge and get her out of here.
So actually, sports TV is what brought me out to Denver originally, and then I ended up going to law school at University of Denver.
Okay.
And then I realized lawyering was really not for me. I was doing bankruptcy, divorce, and criminal law. And I hated it.
A lot of happy people.
I hated it. I was really depressed. I could feel it all in my body every day.
That could have been hockey. Have you ever heard of CTE?
Oh, yes, I have. It could have been. But I think it was like actually, going to court and being a divorce lawyer.
Yeah,
pretty depressing.
That is.
Yeah,
funny.
that doesn't.
So.
Yeah, no.
Wait,
not
so
for me.
you did a lot there. So you went from
and then I
working
went
in sports
back
media.
to sports.
Yeah, so you went law school, sports media, food truck. So at least you're kind of following your passion. You're finding things that make you happy.
So happy. Like I've never been this happy in my life, and I've never worked this hard. But like I've had some 20-hour days selling food out of a truck and some 100-hour weeks. I never did that as a lawyer, and I've never been more broke but more happy.
Nice.
Solid.
That gives me hope because I'm broke.
So when you made that announcement, to your team at the sports
I think they thought I was kidding.
Yeah, I probably would have too, especially if it was around April. But then, though, how did you have you like been cooking this food that you wanted to start the food truck? Like, how long were you?
Yeah, was this a test kitchen in your house and then trying food more?
And then
really
one day
good
it was like,
question.
I'm fucking quitting. I'm doing it.
So good question. So what happened was I was a Chinese major in college, and I had lived with a Chinese family in China, and really like deeply fallen in love with the food there. And I spent a lot of time, 3 different summers with a family living in their home cooking. And then when I was lawyering and so depressed, I would come home and cook, and that was my meditation. And I had a CSA from a local farm in Lafayette for several years, and I would try to figure out what to do with their 80 to 100 different vegetables, many of them I hadn't even heard of. And I started thinking about all the food I'd eaten in China, and I traveled all over Southeast Asia and really fell in love with Asian street food in general. And I had been to Japan several times as well. My brother was living there. So
did y'all grow up having an affinity for like the Chinese culture and things of that nature as well? Like how did you know?
I started
was
studying Chinese in high school. My high school was a high school I really went to for hockey, but they offered Chinese, and my brother was learning Japanese.
Prep?
Not too far. I went to one in Massachusetts called Northfield Mount Herman. I would like to give it a shout out because it did a lot for me. Okay. Actually, this is cool. The school had a motto called the head, the heart, and the hand. And I felt like when I was lawyering that I was really just using my head. And now that I'm a chef, I'm really using my head, my heart, and my hand. So actually tomorrow we're having that done. We're having that calligraphied. I don't know if that's a verb, on the wall in our restaurant.
We verbivise.
Verb shit all the time.
No grammar police here.
Heard that. You heard my locker room chef / hockey player mouth.
You
There's
can say that all the time.
There's a lot about playing hockey that's similar to cooking in a kitchen. So there's another reason why it feels so natural.
Quick question.
Yes.
Charlie Conway or Adam Banks?
Oh, that's a great question, Chris.
I'm so sorry, but I don't even know who that is.
That's okay.
Did you see the Mighty Ducks?
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Adam Banks was a hawk.
I'm more. Let me
the
tell
cake
you.
eater versus
I'm more of like a young blood, like a Patrick Swayze. Rob
Hot
Lowe.
Shots.
Like I'm old. I'm
Hot
like,
Shots.
I'm not too into the hot shots, but if you do like the Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze, that'd be more of a tough one for me.
Okay, well I get why you like that one. I mean, you probably like St. Elmo's Fire, and a lot of people do, but that's not.
I'm showing my age.
Did you see what was it? Miracle Alaska.
Yes,
okay.
I'm totally into that.
Okay, see, okay, I knew we could find some commonality in cinema. That was a great question.
Sorry.
No.
I mean, you pissed on a lot of people's dreams here, but it's okay. See, correct
you only
answer
heard
is,
us.
The correct answer is Adam Banks.
So I ended up, realizing that I was kind of in love with cooking and couldn't find the food here that I was after. And so I had this idea that I could start a food truck. And then I realized, I didn't have any professional cooking experience. So I was eating at a restaurant one night and asked the chef there at the time if she could give me a lesson. We were just like talking casually and thought it would be a good idea to get a lesson from a professional. Like,
That's
maybe
not a bad idea.
How do you hold a knife? And I also took a class online, like a Food Truck Academy class for 8 weeks, and I did a Business of Artisan Food 4-month certificate program with Portland State. So it took me about a year and a half from the day I decided I was going to start a food truck and started working on my business plan to the day that we opened, which is pretty unusual. Most people don't spend a year and a half trying to open a food truck. So I think all that time we spent in all that research and learning, and I spent 5 months staging at Brazen for Carrie Baird, who was the chef that I went and asked for a lesson. But she wasn't.
That's not a bad
She
one to
wasn't
get.
the
Beard
legendary.
finalist.
She wasn't the legendary Carrie Baird back then.
She was just friend
She
Carrie.
was just so nice, and I was like, oh, she's like makes the best ramen I've ever had, and she's, a white girl in Denver, so I'm gonna ask her for a lesson. So.
And
I
she just
did.
opened up her kitchen to you.
Right.
That speaks to Chef Carrie. And, I mean, obviously her restaurants slap as well. I mean, nationally recognized, I think, as this is airing. It's all you may be listening to this and watching the Beard stream for the finalists to see if she wins the best chef in the region. So you're taking after someone that's fantastic and great.
And I have to say, like, without her, we would definitely not be in business. She taught me everything I know and really took me under her wing and has put a lot of time and energy into making sure I can figure out how to do this every day.
I like it. So when did the food truck start up, actually?
We opened in July of 2016, and we opened, our first day was the Rayback's second day in Boulder, which is a food truck park, and we kind of grew up together and started together, and at that time we were there 3 or 4 days a week doing doubles, and that really helped us launch our business. And then we did a bunch of breweries and private caterings, and we've been really fortunate over the years to be a part of people's special events. And when I look back on all the best days we ever had on the truck, it was never just a random day at a brewery, but it was always, being part of someone's rehearsal dinner or a company party or really special stuff. And we got to cater at Google, which was a big dream of mine, and they don't even allow food trucks, so had to get a waiver, so that law degree came in.
There you go.
You got to actually. There you go. Well done.
You were saying at the Rayback, and I wish Denver had a place like that. Have you been? To
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
So we went up there with Gurley's parents and hung out there, and that's actually when I tried your restaurant. So the food truck at the time, soon to be a restaurant, and it kind of reminds me this story that we're talking about reminds me almost of Camina. We've had Ramey join us on the podcast, and she had the pink taco truck and had to fight with the city of Boulder. Did you have any what was the biggest headache, I guess, from navigating, because you're now going food truck, food hall, brick and mortar? Where's the biggest headache been in that process?
Well, I have to say people like Ramey and Biker Jim, and, there's been so many people, Kiero Arepas, Chewy Foos, that have set the stage Verde for people like me to see them do it and then be like, we can do it too. There was one day when we were next to Comida at the Rayback, and we'd only been open a few weeks, and we outsold them, and I was like, holy shit, we just outsold the best food truck in Boulder. Like, maybe this was a good idea. Like, maybe everyone was not right, that I shouldn't try this. So,
how often do you get to shit on the haters?
I don't
flex on them every now and then on the
There's
Facebook
still,
page.
my brother told me I should sell food out of the back of my car in the beginning, and that really put a big chip on my shoulder. And now he's just invested in our restaurant, so that felt pretty good.
There you go.
That's flex. So best day on the food truck, and then the worst possible thing that ever happened working on the food truck.
When going back to the struggles, for me the biggest problem's been the food truck.
The truck itself.
I've read a book about it. It sounds
4 transmissions, 3 engines, 4 summers. So for me,
you just got to allocate like a whole transmission every fucking year.
Yeah, it's pretty unusual what happened to us, but it
I
also,
wonder if ice cream trucks have that issue, because
almost
those guys
put us out of business.
I feel like ice cream trucks were like the OG food truck, and those guys were like clockwork every day, just riding through streets. It's like they had a post office truck. How do those guys? They have like real strong engines. Everybody else is driving like bullshit.
So did you not expect that kind of problems?
No, and then at certain times, like, we would be like not working for 5 weeks at a time because the truck would be in the shop, and we'd have to cancel 5 weeks of stuff we had booked 3 or 4 months in advance. So honestly, like, whenever anyone even asks me about food trucking, my first piece of advice is get a trailer. So then if it breaks, you can still take your trailer and rent a truck at like Home Depot and stuff.